For more than a century, the relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom has been considered one of the strongest alliances in modern history. Diplomats and historians often describe it as the special relationship. Through global wars, political crises, and international conflicts, the two nations have stood side by side. Their cooperation has helped shape the modern world and maintain global stability. But recently, a political storm has begun to grow between the leaders of these two powerful allies. A public war of words has erupted between the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer. What began as a disagreement about military cooperation has quickly developed into a political confrontation that has attracted attention around the world. Behind this confrontation lies a deeper and more dangerous issue: rising tensions in the Middle East and the possibility of military action involving Iran. Many observers now wonder whether this dispute is simply a temporary disagreement between two leaders or whether it signals a deeper fracture in one of the most important alliances in modern international politics. To understand why this dispute matters so much, it is important to look at the long history of cooperation between the United States and the United Kingdom. During the Second World War, the partnership between British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and American President Franklin Roosevelt became legendary. Their leadership helped unite the Allied forces against Nazi Germany and ultimately played a decisive role in winning the war. Since that time, the two countries have maintained extremely close ties in diplomacy, intelligence, economics, and military operations. They are also two of the most influential members of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, better known as NATO. From Afghanistan to Iraq and many other global missions, American and British soldiers have fought together on battlefields around the world. Because of this long history of cooperation, many analysts have often assumed that when the United States acts on the global stage, the United Kingdom will usually stand beside it. However, recent developments have begun to challenge this assumption. The tension between Donald Trump and Keir Starmer reportedly began over a sensitive military question related to Iran. According to several reports, the United States had been considering possible military actions connected to growing tensions with Iran. As part of these potential operations, the United States asked for permission to use certain British military bases for strategic support. These bases are extremely important for military operations in the Middle East. They allow aircraft to launch missions, refuel, and coordinate operations between Europe and conflict zones in the region. However, the British government reportedly hesitated when the request was first made. The hesitation did not necessarily mean a complete refusal, but it raised concerns in Washington. From the perspective of the American administration, hesitation from such a close ally created frustration and uncertainty. That frustration soon turned into sharp political criticism. President Donald Trump publicly criticized the British Prime Minister in strong terms. Reports indicate that Trump referred to Keir Starmer as a loser. The comment quickly spread across international media and triggered widespread reactions. Trump also compared Starmer to one of the most famous leaders in British history, Winston Churchill. In his criticism, Trump suggested that Starmer did not demonstrate the same kind of strong leadership that Churchill once showed. During the Second World War, for many people in Britain, such a comparison carries significant symbolic meaning. Winston Churchill is remembered as a national hero who guided the country through one of its darkest and most dangerous periods. To suggest that a modern British leader does not live up to that legacy is more than simple political criticism. It touches on national pride and historical memory. Trump further argued that the hesitation shown by the British government could damage the long-standing alliance between the two nations. These remarks quickly fueled international debate and speculation about whether tensions were growing between Washington and London. In response to the criticism, Prime Minister Keir Starmer chose a more cautious and diplomatic approach. Instead of responding with equally aggressive language, Starmer emphasized the ongoing cooperation between the United States and the United Kingdom. He explained that American military aircraft were already conducting operations from British bases. According to Starmer, these operations demonstrated that the alliance between the two countries remained active and functional. He also pointed out that British fighter jets were helping support and protect American forces involved in these operations. In his statement, Starmer argued that these actions prove that the special relationship between the two countries continues to exist in practice. His response appeared to be an attempt to reduce tension rather than escalate the confrontation. Nevertheless, the public exchange between the two leaders has raised concerns among international observers. While disagreements between allies are not unusual in global politics, the visible nature of this dispute has drawn particular attention. There are several reasons why analysts believe this situation deserves close monitoring. First, both the United States and the United Kingdom are key members of NATO. The alliance depends heavily on unity and cooperation among its leading members. Any visible conflict between the two most powerful military partners within the alliance could create uncertainty among other member states. Second, the disagreement is connected to tensions involving Iran. The Middle East remains one of the most volatile regions in the world. If military tensions escalate, cooperation between Western allies will become even more important. A lack of coordination or trust between allies could complicate military operations and diplomatic strategies. Third, global rivals carefully observe the relationships between Western powers. Any signs of division among allies can send important signals to other countries that may seek to challenge Western influence. Some experts believe that this dispute may simply reflect political rhetoric. Leaders sometimes use strong language for domestic political audiences or strategic messaging. However, other analysts warn that repeated public criticism between allied leaders can gradually weaken trust. Trust plays a critical role in international alliances. Military planning, intelligence sharing, and diplomatic cooperation all depend on a high level of mutual confidence. If that confidence begins to erode, even strong alliances can face new difficulties. The relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom has survived many disagreements in the past. Different governments, different political ideologies, and different foreign policy priorities have come and gone over the decades. Yet despite these differences, the core partnership has remained intact. Today, however, the international environment is becoming increasingly complex. Global power balances are shifting. New geopolitical rivalries are emerging. Conflicts in regions such as the Middle East continue to challenge international stability. At the same time, domestic politics in many countries are becoming more polarized, which can influence foreign policy decisions. In such an environment, even a war of words between two leaders can have wider strategic implications. For now, the future of this dispute remains uncertain. It is possible that tensions will gradually fade as diplomatic discussions continue behind the scenes. Both countries have powerful reasons to maintain their cooperation. Their military, economic, and intelligence partnerships are deeply interconnected. However, if disagreements about Middle East policy continue, similar disputes could emerge again. Ultimately, the exchange of criticism between Donald Trump and Keir Starmer serves as a reminder of how delicate international alliances can sometimes be. Even relationships that have lasted for generations must constantly adapt to new political realities. For more than 70 years, the partnership between the United States and the United Kingdom has been one of the foundations of global security. Now, that relationship faces another test. Whether this moment becomes a minor political episode or the beginning of a deeper shift in international relations remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: the world is watching closely as these events unfold.